What's up, everyone? All right. Let's see. Let's just give it a little bit of time here. Gonna go over some swings today. All right. Hope everyone's well. What's up, guys? All right. Jen is on. Why don't you give me a call and then we'll go over your video. We're gonna go over a little bit of Jan Johnson's video to start. I'll get it up on the screen. And he's gonna give me a call. Just to kind of go through real quick what I believe about the swing. Let me say that first, I know that there's a lot of talk about, oh, there's no secret to the swing. And, I even saw a video recently on Instagram where a guy's saying any of these people he tried to explain, like, anyone who has a theory about the swing, they're basically running a scam. I don't know if you guys have seen this kind of, I think it might have been sponsored Instagram video, but basically saying, like, they're running a system. What they're doing is they apply a blueprint to every hitter, and that allows them to just, I don't know, rather than looking at each hitter individually, they can just kind of apply their system to everybody, and that just allows them to, I guess, scale, basically scale. Because if they're kind of changing their system according to each person, that's not scalable. Anyways, he kind of went into how it's all a scam, and I don't know what he was selling. Probably some sort of, like, you have to get your own personal movement test done. There's a lot of that, which I think is actually a scam. But here's Jan. Hey, Jan. You there?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah. Hold on a sec. All right.
This is really weird because I'm watching you on the live stream and you're like 30 seconds behind.
Is it that far behind?
Well, yeah, you're still kind of doing your intro.
Okay. Let me just finish that real quick.
Okay.
But stay on.
Okay.
So what I believe is that there happens to be a sort of secret to the swing. And I think that any problem, there is always there are always kind of doorways in that make the challenge much easier. I just think that that's the way it's set up. Any problem. So I think the swing is no different. And I think that basically, I know I tend to ramble, but to make a long story short, um, I believe that that key move is utilizing more lead side. There happens to be scientific evidence for it, but even if there wasn't, my experience, and I think that everyone's own experience is probably the most important thing. My experience, like, has been that that's the only thing that ever worked for me. Um, and I have to think that I'm not that much different than anybody else. You know, I'm actually the best candidate to kind of test the swing theories out because I'm not very naturally gifted. So I mean, I started off pretty terrible at hitting. Um, anyways, so I believe that key move is utilizing more lead side, in some way extending less with the back arm. And Jan and I talk quite a bit about what exactly that means. Um, I think that probably even within the lead side understanding of the swing, there are little hacks that you can do as well. And who knows, you know what I mean? Maybe it just kind of goes and goes. Anyways, but I do think the overarching main thing when it comes to swing mechanics is some sort of more lead side pull, less back arm exertion. That's what most people suffer from. And so if you can do that correctly, it's some sort of utilizing more of the lead side pull. And what I love about that understanding is it leaves it open to doing that in your own particular way, which I think is a big argument out there in swing instruction, that people always want to they want to critique these kind of systems of the swing and say that everyone's different, so you can't just apply a system. Well, this particular system, utilizing more lead side pull, allows you to kind of do it in your own personal way. And I think that just rings true to me. So Jen, I have your video up. You see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, on YouTube, I don't even know if we have anyone. We have 7 people. So let me know if anything is not good, like the audio. But right now, I just have Jan on my phone sitting next to my laptop, and I'm hoping you guys can hear him okay. So I'll just continue unless you guys tell me otherwise. So I'm trying to think. I want to talk about what you said in the video. I cut out anytime you're talking, but I just have your swings up. But in this particular, which one was it? I think it.
I don't think I talk in this one. I think this is just a swing, if I remember correctly.
This one right here. You said something before and I didn't understand it. And I'm just trying to think of what it was that you said. It was something to do with the back arm. When you're hovering, you don't like the hover so much, maybe because the back arm is not getting enough space. It was something like that. If you could go into that.
Yeah. Okay. So you were showing a different video initially, or you had a different one up, but this one where I'm hovering. First of all, my experience doing the progression was pretty quickly after doing lead arm swings. I felt how good it was. But I've had trouble adding the back arm until recently. And kind of the big breakthrough I had was when you hover, if you fixate too much on the hand, you're back to fixating on the back arm, and your body is going to quit the move it was doing with the lead arm, which is pulling and thrusting with the whole body, and it's going to go back to making room for the hand because you're fixating on it so much and trying to get it back on the handle.
You become kind of backside focused.
Yeah, exactly. Well, specifically the back hand. For me, the big problem was fixating on the back hand. Because that's what you're trying to get back on the handle, and you're trying to get it back with the structure you did with the lead side. But fixating on the hand kind of defeats the purpose because it's the hand that's so capable of hijacking the swing. So recently I've been thinking of it more as, I guess connecting. I don't know if this is going to make sense. Talking swing is hard. But lately I've been thinking of not fixing. First of all, getting a really good lead side swing in and making it so good that your body likes that move. And then instead of thinking of it as connecting the hand back to the handle, I think of it as connecting the whole body to the handle via the back hand. That sounds confusing. That's not a good explanation.
No, I mean, I don't think that that's too far-fetched. It's basically more of a dispersion of your focus to the entire body rather than...
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Because when you do lead arm swings, the backside moves differently too. It's not like you're not using your backside. What really happens is you start using the most out of your body, and that includes the backside. And the new move that your body, backside included, wants to do should dictate how your back arm connects to the handle. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So when I hover now, I don't fixate so much on getting the hand back on the handle. I feel the whole move. And then trying to putting it back on the handle, it almost feels like the hand and forearm really don't do anything. It's almost like they connect back in a way where they're barely contributing at all. And or at least not early on, and I get more of the body into it. I'm just rambling now. I mean, it's hard to communicate this, but
have you found that if you get it right, like there's a special moment at the very start of the forward swing? Have you found that to be true for yourself, where like if you just get that right, that seems to be the most important thing? Or do you work?
Well, there definitely is a key moment I feel early on where when I've done my lead arm swings and now I want to do a normal swing, and I go to swing with two arms, and I can feel before even putting the back arm back on the bat that I want to exert really hard early on with the hand and forearm. And the key moment would be not exerting at that point and sticking with what you did with the lead side. And that would be kind of the key beginning where the bat drops and flattens. That's something you can't force. I think that's a key moment. And kind of an unnatural move because of just how natural it is, especially if your dominant arm is in the back, how natural it is to exert early. because I mean, heck, you have this capable mechanism in the back that can so easily push out at any time. So it feels very unnatural for it not to exert and to let the bat flatten like it would when you're swinging with just your front arm. It feels like an unnatural move, but a key move and a very powerful one. So when I say unnatural, I don't mean like it feels very powerful, but it's just not what you would do if you've trained a really back arm dominant swing.
And therein lies, to me, sort of the hack within the hack, which would be kind of boils down to focus on closing the lead shoulder to start. And we've talked about that. And I know you have your thoughts on that. What I believe that helps you do, and you mentioned when you go back to two hands, basically adding the back arm at whatever stage you're adding it, the body kind of morphs its structure to be more back arm dominant right away, even if you're hovering. And your solution to that was try to focus on more the entire body. That's a little obscure, and I'm not saying to all of us, but to yourself, to think of it just as, try to think of it as the whole body. To me, the simple hack to all of that, and I want to hear your thoughts, is get the lead shoulder really closed prior to your forward swing, because that kind of forces you, because that's only a move that you really do when you're swinging with just the lead side. So like the hack within the hack there is just focus. It'll take care. You maybe still have to think about utilizing more lead side, and not so much back arm, but closing the lead shoulder to start is sort of like 80% of staying in lead side dominance when you add your back arm. In other words, that's the big problem, right? Is like, once you have the lead side structure, now we're just adding the back arm. Now the big obstacle that you're going to face is, are you going to go back to more back arm dominance when you add your back arm? Solution: get that lead shoulder really closed. Think of powering the swing still with the lead side. That combination of swing thoughts sort of solves it, that I've found. Go ahead.
Yeah, the closing the lead shoulder to start is a genius cue. I think it's one that's been around for a while, not in the way that you're describing it. The way people talk about it now is they say close it and keep it closed throughout the whole swing. So they're not really nailing what that really is.
It's interesting. That's a good point. That's something that conventional instruction has said for a long time now, which is what they're saying, though. They're all about being on time. I mean, they put being on time. They might as well just bunt. They're so obsessed with being on time. But so that's one of their solutions to being more on time, is keep that front shoulder closed. The second you kind of spin it out, now you've committed to the pitch or whatever. It's just a way of waiting for the pitch.
Can I comment on that?
Yeah.
So when you say the second you spin it out, you're going to be late on the pitch, I see that as, I mean, we just talked about it. I see spinning out as being back arm dominant, because if you're spinning out, you're doing it to make room for your back arm to power the swing.
100%. I mean, a back arm dominant swing is one where the shoulder kind of leaks open and starts from a very open position. Yeah.
Yes. So, but if we're saying that, then don't we have to give some credence to don't spin out early?
Don't spin out early is an obvious look. Here's the thing: whether it doesn't matter. There comes a time where you have to commit to the pitch.
Yeah.
If that's
Yeah.
what you're talking about. I mean, if we're talking about being on time, to me, the problem, the reason why so many people are not on time very often these days is kind of a separate issue. To me, that's more pitch recognition related. And that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but I don't think that anyone's getting the
It's
pitch,
an important one.
the pitch reps that they need. And so they're obviously all over the place in terms of when they commit with that opening of the torso or shoulders. You have, whether you're back arm dominant or lead arm dominant, you're going to have to commit, and opening up is going to be some sort of commitment to the pitch.
Yeah.
But I think that you're more apt to open up early with a back arm dominant swing, simply because you start, it's just, that's the way a back arm dominant swing is structured.
Yeah, and then honestly, good luck being on time with that back arm dominant early open. I think the best way to be on time is starting really closed, and then that kind of being your source, and then you open through the ball. You rotate and use your body rotation to crush the ball.
Yeah.
That's the best way to be on time.
Yeah. And it's just, it's ironic to me. Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I guess I wanted to talk about that because I feel like there is some truth to that. I feel like some people, by focusing on not spinning out early, you said that's kind of an obvious cue, but I think some people, in focusing on that, they actually make themselves more lead side.
Yeah.
For the same reason that you said
100%.
Your breakthrough was to start with the lead shoulder closed. I think people who try not to spin out early, unknowingly, it makes them more lead side dominant. So that's why I was saying maybe we got to give some credence to that. And the other thing, the other obsession out there is hitting oppo. That kind of goes hand in hand with the stay closed.
It does. And I think that's what they're.
Hit oppo? Yeah, go ahead.
No, what were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say, how do you hit oppo if you're back arm dominant and you spin out early to punch with your back arm? You're not gonna hit oppo.
Well, you're gonna hit oppo, but the wrong way. Basically, you're hitting oppo because the barrel's late. It's funny how their theory of the swing has kind of, man, this is all so convoluted. There's so many moving parts, but their understanding of the swing oftentimes is an understanding that came about just because they wanted to justify their more back arm dominant swing action, their more stay inside the ball punchy action. And so, yeah, it makes you go opposite field more, but that's because of a bad thing. It's because your barrel is late. So they've kind of said, oh, well, then going the opposite way is what it's all about. Punch it the opposite way. And it's like, yeah, but you're doing it wrong. And you're kind of only advocating going the other way because your punchy swing kind of produces that. And so your thinking is, oh, well, if my punchy swing produces a late barrel and more opposite field hits, that must be what you're supposed to do. No, I think we've gotten way off track. I think what you're supposed to do is hit the ball with as much force as often as possible, period. And it doesn't really matter if it happens to go to the opposite field or poolside. Like, we're not trying to go opposite field in a lead side dominant action, at least. But yeah, the more back arm dominant swing, it just produces that late barrel, which tends to make you kind of slide off everything that they say they don't want because of everything they say they don't want, they actually end up producing with the swing that they advocate, I believe. But
Yeah.
anyways,
I
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I can't help but see that the only way to consistently barrel, like crush the ball, oppo, is be lead side dominant. And
100%.
a lot of the people on the oppo craze, if they realized that, they would get on the lead side train because it gives them what they want and more. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And they're looking. Yeah.
It does. And I think if you're talking technically what's going on is it allows you to be more connected at contact. And there's no reason why.
Pitch.
What's that?
Yeah, connected on the outside pitch.
On the outside pitch.
You have to have a great swing to be connected on an outside pitch and crush it to
Yeah.
the opposite field.
I mean, just Google Ken Griffey Jr. highlights, and you'll see how to go oppo with a lead side action.
Yeah.
Your lefty swing, by the way, looks good.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I love this.
I've had trouble. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I love this, what you're doing here. This drill, basically, this is a form of, you're basically doing the second step in the progression. You're hovering. But I just liked the look of these swings, and I'll just play them in regular motion here. But you're just going back and forth. I like the lefty swings, though.
Yeah. I'm trying to get my video to catch up with the call. I think we're almost there.
Yeah, I love this. I mean, you can just see the path that the bat's taken.
Yeah, it feels like, here's what it feels like. It feels like I have a lot of coverage with the swing, and at any point we'll be able to deliver force. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
So in other words, everything we just talked about, I feel like I could hit the outside pitch with force. I don't know. It's just a different feeling. I've had trouble using it in games because when I get into a game, I'm so coordinated, so I don't quite take the same swing. I end up being more punchy. I guess I'm a little worried about contact or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it another crack this season.
You mean lefty swings?
Yeah, or I haven't given up on doing it in a game.
Yeah. Nor should anybody.
Yeah.
So let's see here. So now you're kind of adding. I just like the look of this swing, though. Now the backhand is basically added.
The what is? Oh yeah, the back arm is added. I'm a little behind here. I'm trying to get better signal, but.
So tell me some of the things that you wanted to discuss about either your lefty or righty swings.
Well, I sent you some right-handed swings. The main thing was on the. You don't have the right-handed video, do you?
Yeah.
Hovering on the other side.
Yeah, I do.
It was the first attempt specifically where I kind of do a half swing.
Okay. I have it up now.
Okay. So I think I stop short and then go back and start over.
Right there?
Yeah, so do you see the back on that attempt? Do you see the back shoulder crunching up and there's a bit of an early open?
I think it's probably an early open with your lower body. Your maybe the feel of the lower body is that you're early open.
I'm honestly not sure.
Well, because the lead shoulder looks pretty well closed, but it could feel. I could see how it could feel like your lower body is kind of opening.
Okay, I can't remember exactly. I think I mainly felt on the first attempt I wanted to go back to my old action, and that's why you kind of see the back shoulder clench up. I'm kind of fighting myself a little, but then I go back and
I'm taking it backwards here. So here's
okay.
kind
So
of.
you can you see, like, if you go slow, can you see there just a bit of a crunch?
In which swing? The first half swing or the swing after that?
No, the first half swing.
Oh, okay. And a crunch where? Right here? Or are you caught up?
No, keep going. Like kind of no, yeah, through contact.
Oh. Okay. You're getting a little crunched up through contact.
You see that?
Yeah.
I'm fighting myself a little.
Yeah, but it is a half swing. But I see how your back shoulder is kind of moving up towards your chin a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't want to nitpick. I just know because I'm the one that took the swing that.
Yeah.
That's what got me.
That's what it felt. That's what you felt.
Yeah.
Okay, and I see what you're doing. So you're just saying this is something that I feel from time to time. This particular swing is where I felt it. You may not be able to see it, but that's what I felt.
Yeah, exactly.
I just go back to just like if you were gonna throw a frisbee, like what would you be focused on? You wouldn't be movement focused on the back arm. You'd be movement focused on the lead side controlling the move. And I think that if you just try to focus on that, even when you add your back arm, again, getting that lead shoulder closed, I feel like that'll allow your back arm to quiet.
Yeah.
This can be approached, it has to be approached in two different ways.
It does.
You have to approach it in terms of changing the feel in your arms. Look, people don't realize, like, we have way more feel in our hands than people even realize. Like, if you think about like just the side of your torso, the amount of feel that you have there as opposed to like how much we use our hands, like we almost interact with the world with our hands in a way, with the physical world. So that feel in our hands and arms is very strong, and we have to change that feel through the swing. But we also have to approach it in that, okay, now that if we really are going to make a swing change, the whole thing is a structure. So we also have to talk about the change that happens in your body. Now, having said that, I don't think that you should be forcing change in your body. I think you should be listening to what does my body want to do when I am more lead side. So it's almost like that to me isn't really, well, none of it really should be a hard change, but that to me isn't, it's a different kind of change because you're really just saying, what does my body want to do naturally, being more lead side? And then how can I maintain that feel and structure when I add the back arm? Because the whole thing will want to go back to a new structure when you add the back arm. It'll want to do that. And that could be changing in your big muscles, or it could be changing in your arms and hands, the feel and kind of forcing you out of lead side dominance. But
yeah.
So it's like a two-pronged approach. But I just think that if you just focus on closing the lead shoulder, but also doing so in a way where you, like, again, like if you were going to throw a frisbee, you would kind of take some time in that closed position. You don't just close and open at at any pace and any rhythm, there's
Yeah.
a particular kind of delaying action that happens when you utilize more lead side in the transition. And that's something that's a whole nother, we could go down that rabbit hole, how lead side dominance just has more time in that transition.
Yeah. The kicker is your body has to like it. You can't force it. Your body really has to like closing the lead shoulder and taking more time in the transition. You can't copy and paste that, is what I found.
Yeah. And then would you say how you figure that out, like what your body likes, is by swinging with just the lead arm and hitting the ball?
It's the best thing out there. It's the best thing out, but it's the best thing I could think of. It's the best thing out there. It might not be the only way.
Yeah. But that's the way that you, like you were saying, you can't just force any old move. You have to figure out what your particular way of being more lead side is, and the way to find that out is to hit balls, right, with just your lead arm.
Yeah, it's hard to beat lead side swings.
Yeah.
I don't want to ramble too much, but I'm remembering how I started out. Like when I first found your stuff, pretty soon, I think I sent some bad swings at first, but pretty soon I had a good lead side swing, and it just felt so good. Like it felt like such good movement, and like a lot of what I had been craving, like field coverage, able to hit any pitch and for power, any location, honestly, just a clean swing. I felt it from doing the lead side swings, but I just had trouble taking the same swing with both arms. So for a while, I didn't think it was possible to have that good movement with both in a normal swing. But now I know it is, you know?
Yeah.
I guess if there's anyone out there who has a good lead side swing but is having trouble taking the same swing with both arms, just know, like, it's possible.
It's possible. And I think something that really helps is focus on closing that lead shoulder.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But
I mean, yeah. That's an amazing cue. What comes to mind next is, well, it's subtle how capable your back hand is. It's just so incredibly capable.
Yep.
So you can, I think it's possible to lapse into copy pasting a closed shoulder and still overexerting it in the back. Just to be on, like, I just have to be honest and say that, you know what I mean? It's so, when you get it right, it's so different. Like your hand and forearm just don't do it. They feel like they're barely on the bat, you know, and they're contributing in a completely different way.
Talk more about that.
Well, that kind of says it. I'm still working on it, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't taken this into a game yet. I'm crushing balls right now and have high hopes for my next season.
I think so much of it is like, I think a common misunderstanding is that of like there's a general thought out there that like pulling more with the lead side will have you sort of sliding off the ball, never actually closing the barrel. And actually, I think that's a misunderstanding. I think more back arm will actually lead to the barrel sliding off or slicing.
Yeah. People have it backwards.
Yeah, they have it backwards.
They have it backwards. When you say pull with the lead side, they imagine, oh, he's going to spin out early.
Yeah.
But that's what, like, they're misunderstanding what pull with the lead side is. If you swing with the lead side only, you very intuitively know when to open your shoulders.
And you also very intuitively can decelerate and deliver the barrel. Like that becomes intuitive.
Everything becomes intuitive.
Everything becomes intuitive. And this whole idea, not to go down this rabbit hole, but of like deceleration is the thing to focus on. And it's like all that happened was these guys, they noticed that deceleration was happening due to 3D modeling. And they thought, oh, we never realized that that was happening. That must be something that we need to focus on. So that's how that whole deceleration thing has started. Now there's a whole kind of coterie of people who have jumped on that bandwagon. And
with all the different teachings, I think you have to distinguish which ones are based on a feel and then which ones are based on a concept. Like the hands to the ball, I believe. I mean, you know the history of swing instruction better than I do. So you probably, was that based on a concept? Like someone thought to themselves the straightest.
Yeah.
So the feels that are based on concepts and not on feels, I think like 100% of the time are garbage.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And that's got to be the biggest one. Basically, for anyone who might be lost on what Jan just said, the whole hands to ball understanding of the swing, where you're kind of bringing the hands in a straight line towards the ball. We all know that swing and that feel. That was engendered by the geometric maxim that the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And so someone kind of went off, like they almost made that their North Star, that maxim, and then developed basically a whole swing theory. I wish we knew who this first guy was who developed hands to ball. Somebody did it. Somebody noticed, hey, on paper, hey, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. Yeah. So I'm going to develop a whole swing theory based on it. And then everyone parroted that, like swing coaches, hitting coaches, MLB players, whatever. You know, if you hear them talk, they would say, what's the shortest distance between 2 points? Everyone says straight line, a straight line. Yeah, you don't do this to get from A to B. You go in a straight line. Well, that's what we're doing with our hands. And then everyone's like, makes perfect. I mean, hell, it does make. I'd buy into it. If I haven't looked into all this, I would have bought into it, and I did buy into it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But as far as so people think that utilizing more lead side, they tend to think that the barrel will never shut. And my whole point of bringing all this up was to say, I'm very much in favor of shutting the barrel. I'm not advocating for, I'm not advocating, and I used to produce this because I used to try to shove positions, and that actually would kind of never close the barrel because I saw these guys getting in such connected positions at contact. And so I had hitters like hit the heavy bag. I do believe I brought the heavy bag into instruction. I don't think it was there before. But I don't even use it anymore. I don't like it because it does produce kind of a slap. There's no kind of slapping into the hit. Basically, the deceleration that happens at the very end where you kind of do release the barrel. But I think that we do have to understand how to release the barrel, how to decelerate, and all whatever you want to say. We do that by hitting balls with just your lead arm. What I'm trying to get at here is I do believe that you want to release the barrel into the ball, but you're only going to learn how to do that primarily utilizing your lead side if you hit balls with just your lead arm. And so work that out. I think a lot of people just assume that, I don't know, they don't take the crucial step in like, let's hit some balls and figure out what you want to do. They're just they're still in like the forced positions mode when I work with them oftentimes.
Yeah.
And so they're just like
yeah.
trying to do certain positions. And it's like, I just want them to utilize their lead arm, go hit balls, and see what your body wants to do to hit the ball far, you know?
Yeah, there's so much we could talk about. Hey, by the way, stupid question. Is it shutting the barrel or shunting?
I was saying shutting, but whatever finally kind of.
But I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that shutting the barrel, that makes me think of adjustability and how a lot of people would say your swing won't work these days because of the fast pitching.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll say MLB swings in general have changed and evolved to the fast pitching, and not necessarily because of how we went wrong in swing instruction. The lead side, swinging with your lead arm, it's almost like the barrel is square the whole way through the whole swing. After, you know what I mean? Your barrel is whipping and shutting easily. So like, and your back arm sucks at shutting the barrel.
Yeah.
So if you want adjustability and you want to easily square up 95 plus, I mean, this gives it to you. Honestly.
Yeah. It's a misunderstanding that, like, God, man, it's so convoluted, but it's a misunderstanding that launch quickness, one, is the only North Star. Talk about North Stars. This is kind of the present day North Star, whereas the geometric maxim was the 1980s and 90s and early 2000s North Star, and still exists a little bit today. Yeah. Today, the North Star is launch quickness.
Okay. So the launch quickness, would you say is that kind of a response to the faster pitching, and we got to get our swings quicker?
But that's always been the name of the game.
Okay, but how about this? How about instead of launch quickness to hit fast pitching, how about having a swing where your barrel is in the zone a crazy amount of time, and at any point will deliver force, and you're not working that hard for it. And because you're not working that hard, you can easily change, you can easily adjust. And so that therefore a lead side swing will give you the best chance to hit fast pitching. Am I making sense?
100%. And the way I would say it is, great swings have a huge advantage, because I honestly think this is the biggest advantage of a great swing, which is your barrel is essentially more square as it goes through the zone. I mean, that's the bottom line. What you're basically saying. I think of it in many different ways. I think of it as like the hand's responsibility to exert to square the barrel is relieved.
Yes.
Relieved. And so therefore they can function more as they're supposed to, which is, exert when they need to, but for the most part, relax and whip. So they can kind of function the way they were supposed to, like design, quote unquote, designed to function better through the swing. Whereas with a more back arm dominant swing, they kind of take the role as like primary power producer. And that's not really what their role should be.
Yeah, good luck hitting fast pitching with that swing. Your barrel is just going to flip right through the zone.
And and the whole idea, the big barrier that needs to be broken through for more lead side to really flourish is the whole idea, getting back to launch quickness, that utilizing more lead side somehow takes more time. And it's, to me, it's absolutely ludicrous. Like, once again, it's not even that I want to argue about more lead side is faster or slower than what's going on today. I don't even really want to get into that argument, because it's just so, that's not what's important. What's important in that statement is you're making launch quickness the only thing.
Yeah.
And that's like saying, I don't know, a bad comparison maybe, but like on a vacation, the only thing I want is my pina coladas. And it doesn't matter if you're sitting in Alaska, you know, by a frozen lake, or if you're like, the only thing that is important is a pina colada. I think there are probably more important things too.
Pina colada flavored drink right now.
What's that?
Sorry. I'm drinking a pina colada flavored
Get
drink.
out. Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Sorry for interrupting. Yeah.
But so anyways, they're just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even want to get into that argument, because it's like, there are so many other important things in the swing. But right now, everyone's just focused on launch quickness. And eventually, if we only put launch quickness at the top, well, eventually everyone's going to be bunting, or they're just going to have their hands like right here and just do this at the very end. So if you think about it, today's swing is a move more towards that action. It really is kind of getting closer and closer, because they're putting launch quickness at the as their only important factor. It's getting closer and closer to just like, that's kind of what it is. It's kind of just a flip of the wrist, but people don't realize that. They think,
I've tried the whole launch quickness thing. When I think of launch quickness, I think of a sudden move where the barrel just jolts and it's impossible to hit a moving pitch. That's what launch quickness makes me think of, because that launch quickness kind of implies that you need a sudden, quick move. Well, you do that, your barrel is just gonna, I don't know, it just jumps. It's actually the wrong approach to catch up to fast pitching. I keep saying catch up to fast pitching because I feel like there is a sense the pitching is faster today, and hitting a hard fastball it's really hard.
But wouldn't the way to do that be, like, let's say we're talking about like sprinters, and we're saying, hey, we don't really care how far you go in the 60 yards. We're just looking at the first 10 feet. We want you to go as fast as possible in that first 10 feet. And then you tell them, hey, you don't have to start from the start line. You can actually get a running start from 20 feet away, so you can get momentum going at the very start. Do you want to take that? Of course they're going to take it. But we're not taking that in today's, we're thinking, we're not like, there, of course there's a moment in the swing where you have to commit and you have to move fast. I'm not denying that. But why not get some movement going before you do that quick movement?
Yeah, people don't understand that the pre-pitch movement, that's free. It's not that's just setting you up to then, when you go into the forward swing, you'll have more adjustability than someone who is standing still in the name of, I have to make contact, he's throwing hard. You'll beat the guy who ironically is trying really hard to hit a hard thrown pitch and have adjustability. Getting a head start is like the key to that. You get the momentum going, and then once it's going and you're into the forward swing, it's easy to adjust in a way where if you're off time, you still say it's an off-speed pitch, you still hit the ball with a lot of force. I have trouble doing that because I get into a game and so far I've gone back to being more still, and it's because I wanting to make contact. It's a game situation. There's people watching.
I think for you, I think you need a more slow and flowing movement that works into your swing.
No doubt.
And once again, I think that's worked out by swinging with just the lead arm. Let's figure out what you want to do when you're just trying to self-toss on a field is what this makes me think of. That would be the best thing. Record it, see what you want to do when you want to hit the ball far. We'll get that. And then really make that what you do in a game. I don't care how you do it. Maybe there's a couple games where you actually have to hit poorly because you're thinking about it. I don't know. But do that slow movement, because what I see with you is you rock back and forth. You're kind of obviously more nervous than normal. And then you kind of, there's almost, and this is typical of people out there, there's no real movement going on prior to the swing. And then you're expecting to be more lead side, but you're not doing the body movement that is more lead side. You're leaking that front shoulder open. So what is your body supposed to do? Of course, at the last moment, it's got to say, hey, we got nothing here. We got to use our back arm. We've gone completely back to our old structure. And that's what's going on. I think you just need to actually do that slower movement that leads into that fast movement more deliberately. Like, and everyone out there needs to do that. Like, we need to stop being so stiff and nervous at the plate and have a little bit more of a Babe Ruth understanding of, hey, I'm not hitting every pitch. I'm going to swing and miss 3 times in a row at times. That's going to happen. And I'm okay with that, because if I'm not okay with that, then I'm going to get real defensive and I'm going to get real pushy and I'm going to become more of a slapping hitter.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, for sure.
Let me, do you mind if I take some questions here?
No, not at all.
What are your guys' thoughts on throwing your weight forward, positive movement, and how can I do more of that while staying in an athletic position and also be in control facing live pitching? This is kind of exactly what we're talking about, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think people need to be more comfortable with moving more. I think that we've honestly, as a culture, it's in the ether out there. Like, if you're even just on a travel team, you're gonna kind of ingest, if you will, this understanding that, we can't move very much. We got to, the head still, that was a big thing and still is today. Like, you're not going to see the ball if your head isn't still. We're way too overcautious, and it leads to back arm dominance is really what happens. That I think that, Matt, the reason why I think it matters so much is if we could be more lead side and be so still at the plate, then I'm okay with it. But most people, that's not the way it works. You there?
Yeah. I don't know. Greg Walker came to mind. He was pretty still.
Yeah, and he was pretty. I don't know. I'd have to pull up his swing.
Was he? I know. I can't even remember how good he was.
He was. You said Greg or Larry?
Greg.
Yeah, you like Greg Walker. He's an interesting one for you.
I think I like him because I want to hold on to the stillness and still do the lead side. And there's a guy out there doing it. But
I see.
It's probably not the best way.
Well, let's pull up his swing just so people know what we're talking about here. Hold on a sec.
I think if you're in the box in a game and you're at that point you're preferring a back arm dominant swing, I almost don't think there's any point in trying to add movement, because you're just setting up the wrong move. I hate to messy things, but does that make sense?
I'm sorry, I was focused on this video. Say it again, please.
No, you're good. You're good. Let's watch the swing.
So you think he's pretty still. Look how low his hands are.
Yeah.
I mean, like this is the kind of weird thing about it. I see what you mean. He doesn't have a lot of barrel movement.
No. You can see already in his stance that his back arm is handcuffed. He sets up in a way.
He's basically starting in the slot position.
He's cupped. Yeah, he's cupped. Look, his back hand. Yeah. He's already handcuffed.
He's handcuffed in that back arm.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Now the bat actually goes from flat to steep, but he's still very flat.
Oh, let me see.
It goes from flat there to steep there. I mean, but it's still overall very flat. And that's what matters, is where are you at this point? And this is just the way he wanted to do it. For whatever reason, who knows? But as long as he's still lead side dominant, and look at the shoulder closing here. I think there's quite a bit of shoulder closing even to start. I mean, he's kind of got it pretty close just to start, and then he closes it more here. And his hips are closed too. This is more lead side going on. And then he's obviously you can see the more lead side in the thrusting action, the way he's kind of getting taller, and not taller, but sort of thrusting into the hit here. Back arm is really well bent. Lead arm is nice and tight to the body. Just not positions you need to force, but just indications that there's more lead side going on. And then kind of that extent, that kind of jump after the hit, that is always an indication of more lead side as well.
Yeah. I think I also like him because his stance, that's what I preferred as a kid. I kind of held the bat similar to how he did, and I didn't realize it at the time, but I handcuffed myself early in the back arm. And then after high school, I started working on starting with my hands higher and kind of a start high, finish high thing, and it just derailed me. That delicate balance in the back, I just lost it and couldn't find it. I couldn't force it back.
Have you ever thought of just going back to what Greg Walker, more like what he looks like?
Well, I tried it plenty of times, just putting my hands back where they used to be, and it just wasn't the same because I had already drilled in a different swing. But I think we're good now. But did we answer the guy's question? What was his question?
Well, let me. You tell me. I'll read it again. What are your guys' thoughts on throwing your weight forward? In other words, positive movement, and how can I do more of that while staying in an athletic position and also be in control facing live pitching? So
that if you're back arm dominant, you can't do that and be in control against live pitching. I think it all
that's a great point.
It depends on because if you're back arm dominant, then your barrel is already jumping around, and the more movement you add to supplement that, like to do that move, the harder it's going to be to hit the ball. So you have to prefer a lead side move to have movement. So if you're having trouble adding movement, you're probably pretty back arm dominant.
100%. That's the thing, is there's so many things that are there. It's all contingent on lead side dominance. Like
it is.
Yeah. And
from when I was a kid, you know how many people said, hey, you need to move before the pitch. You need to get going before the pitch. And I was trying to tell them, dude, I'm trying to add movement. But the issue was I preferred the wrong swing, especially through contact. So the more movement I added, the harder it was to hit the ball. So You add more movement, but you have to prefer the right swing, and when you do, you'll naturally want to add more movement.
It's funny. I never thought this before, but if you're going to be back arm dominant, probably Skank's approach is the best one.
Yeah.
but the problem still remains you're back arm dominant. So as far as to answer this gentleman's question, make sure you're more lead side primarily. And then beyond that, shift some weight. I mean, the gentleman said throwing your weight forward. That's not necessary. I mean, I don't want to say that I'm advocating for irresponsibly throwing your weight forward. Of course, we need to kind of control that to some degree, but I think that that's more controlled by a secondary cushion, which is a whole nother rabbit hole. But it's an important rabbit hole, and that is, we don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, oh, the answer is don't shift weight. If we don't shift weight, we're going to be more back arm dominant, and we're going to be sacrificing a lot of power. I mean, that should just be obvious. If you're not shifting weight into the hit, then the problem becomes, well, how do we really control when we swing if we're shifting weight forward? You have to hone a secondary cushion. You also have to realize that being more lead side will allow for some more adjustability. Actually, being more lead side and shifting some weight will allow for you to kind of reach for the ball out in front when you're off on timing. So it really allows for even more adjustability if you shift some weight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to kind of shift your understanding of what kind of swing you're really going for. But the problem is everyone's so bought into, if I'm going to be on time on the pitch, I have to just kind of keep my weight back and be able to fire from a statue position. And until you're kind of unsold from that idea, you're never going to really understand what I'm really saying,
and you can't, if you prefer exerting your back arm, you can't force a weight shift onto that. A weight shift is a result of you preferring more lead side.
100%. That's kind of going back to what I said. Like, if you're going to use more back arm, probably Skank's approach is the best way to do it.
Yeah, and if your main source in the swing is going to be your back arm, you should stand still. You should stand as a statue.
Yep.
But why would you do that?
Yeah. So
why would you want that?
So the other question that this gentleman had, Aniel T3F, his Martian name, I guess. I feel as if it helps me a little more create a favorable slot with the lead arm. Talking about shifting some weight forward, and that makes sense because that's just what we were talking about. Bill Wall, ace baseball. Even a great mechanic swing will take time to adjust to seeing higher velocity and really good pitching.
That's true.
Of course, yeah. And that goes back to kind of pitch recognition. I think we just don't see enough pitches. Bill Wallace. I thought it was Bill Wall ace, but it's Bill Wallace baseball. Baseball requires athletic movement. All these gurus are teaching athletic movement out of the swing. 100%. I mean, I feel the need to comment that I am also a guru, so I feel like I'm an exception to that. But I want to put that's what I like about more lead side is it's putting athleticism back into the equation.
It respects the kinetic chain.
That's another way to say it. Yeah, it respects the kinetic chain. It respects how you want to do the kinetic chain, which is everyone's different, right? Great point about overcautiousness, Jamie. Thank you. And Do you have any opinion on the scissor kick some players do with their foot for during the swing? A lot of lead arm dominance pros do it, and I think it's a very interesting pattern. This whole thing of the scissor kick.
Hey, well, I think this is really interesting. I know so what you'll probably say is it's inconsequential, but there are a lot of greats who do it. So what like it might not be the thing to focus on, but what is it?
Well, tell me, what is it? Because I've always been kind of confused what people are talking about with the scissor kick. Like, what is it exactly?
I don't know, man. I just know who comes to mind. Hank Aaron, Roberto. A lot of the great hitters whose back foot came off the ground.
Is that what they're referring to?
That's my best guess.
Yeah. It's sort of like a move that your lower body does to sort of decelerate, but also
Bichette does it.
Bichette?
Yeah.
Like, you mean Bo or Dante?
Bo Bichette.
Let me see.
If I'm remembering right.
Who's someone else that does it?
Can we look at Roberto Clemente?
Yeah.
I think it's more pronounced in his swing.
Is there any particular swing of his you want to see?
No, I don't know off the top of my head. Okay. I wish I knew a good word or one where it's really pronounced.
All right. I mean,
there's a Frank. Is it Frank Thomas or Frank Robinson? One of them did it a ton. Like their back foot came way off the ground.
Oh, that would be Frank Thomas.
I don't know.
Let me see here. I'll put Roberto Clemente up. Hold on. Let's try this one first. I don't know if this will be a good indicator, but
I do know what I do think I know is why people try to do it. And
why?
I don't know. It goes along with the oppo. It helps with your direction and quote unquote not spinning off early. That's why people try to do it, I think.
Yeah, it's like
it's a way to fight back arm dominance, I think.
To fight back arm dominance?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it kind of go hand in hand, or at least is it in the same realm as the kickback that's advocated by deceleration advocates?
I'm not sure what that is.
Well, see how his foot is going backwards here?
Yeah. What do you think that is?
That whole thing?
Yeah.
I think that's like a sudden kind of deceleration thing. Like, that's probably not something we would do if the swing was a constant turn, like if we just spun 10 times in a row. I think it's something we do because we're trying to sort of halt the rotation that was just going really fast. Like we rotate here, and then we're kind of putting on the brakes here. And then so the leg kind of kicks backwards would be my guess. And maybe that's what people are kind of talking about. And then actually that's probably correct, because if you look at the deceleration people, what do they have? They have this tremendous kickback. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I don't think I do.
Oh, there's like a group of people led by, I think, Joey Cunha, who like believe that deceleration is the thing to focus on. It's like a camp out there. And so they really focus on like the farm boards, like kicking your foot back as you swing. kicking your back foot almost in the backward direction. It should be dismissed immediately because of just the way it looks, but people aren't doing that, I guess. But anyways, I don't let me just look at the question again. Do you have an opinion on the scissor kick some players do with their foot during the swing? A lot of lead arm dominant pros do it, and I think it's a very interesting problem. I would say my answer to that is you just kind of answered it yourself. A lot of lead arm pros do it. So to me, the key is be more lead side. That'll probably be something that wants to happen naturally. But again, I think the game of swing mechanics is what do we focus on? And there are a lot of things that happen in swings, but there's only, to me, a few things. One thing that really matters to focus on. And that's really the game of swing mechanics. Like, there are a bunch of gurus out there saying things that happen in swings. Well, great. That doesn't help anybody. You need to whittle it down to what do they need to focus on to get a great swing. Anyways, let me move on here. Never thought about the lead side move modulating the weight shift. Ty says. Yeah. Did you hear that question or that comment?
Yeah, I'm not sure what he means.
Well, just kind of
like I've been rambling for a while, and I'm sure people have their questions. So I'm trying to.
Okay. I've always viewed the scissor kick as a result of a swing that's trying to direct power more up the middle, just like a hockey player doing a slap shot. Oh, so basically, that's kind of like what you were saying.
There's something to that.
Yeah.
I think there's something to that, and I think probably a scissor kick is more common in players that have their dominant arm in the back. Because then you have to you have to kind of fight unknowingly. If you have a great swing, you have to fight the tendency of the back or to spin out early. I think there's something to that. And if your dominant arm's in the front, I think you can spin all you want and you won't spin out early. But if it's in the back, I don't know. Something tells me that a scissor kick's more common
in back arm
players with their dominant arm in the back.
I feel like
said, they probably want it up the middle and oppo, and there's something going on there.
I feel like I can see it being more prominent in lead side players just because I feel like lead side, they're getting their body involved more. And so there's more of a natural scissor kick. Whereas when I think of a more back arm dominant swing, I think of almost like a forced, like very squatted and unutilized lower body. Like they're almost just like, they're just like spinning. They're not thrusting into the hit. They're just kind of like squishing the bug kind of move where you're not getting all that much out of your lower body. That's just how I think of it. I don't know. Miguel Cabrera did the scissor.
I think a lot of the guys who do it, like the guys that want to hit it up the middle. They want a solid hit up the middle, or to oppo. I know you might not agree with that, but
like if we're looking at like Clemente here, like he's basically, look at that move, by the way. Look at that.
Yeah, dude, he was awesome.
And I mean, basically, he's early on the pitch here, utilizing, of course, a lot of lead side. But he's early on the pitch and kind of, like you said, like kind of directing it more to the opposite field. It looks like maybe up the middle, maybe center field. But it's like he's early on the pitch and he's trying to halt his rotation a little bit and extend the hands. and that's when the scissor kind of comes up. So to me, again, it's just like it's a mechanism of halting body rotation, I feel like. You probably won't do it as much on like an inside pitch that you pull, but
Yeah. Exactly.
I'm pretty sure no one forces the scissor kick. Ken Griffey Jr. did it. Altuve, Tatis Jr., Betts all do it also. I don't think it's something that should be forced still. Yeah, that's the way I would say it. Like, I just don't think it's something you want to focus on. In fact, I think it could be detrimental. That's one of those like lower body movements that you're trying to force that I just don't agree with any of that. But anyways, I think we've probably done enough time.
Okay.
Did you have anything else that you wanted to say before we get off?
I mean, there's a billion. This is really interesting stuff. There's a billion things we could talk about.
I know.
Thanks for having me on, man. And
Yeah.
to you guys watching, sorry if I rambled on a bit. I know you'll add your questions. This is exciting stuff, is all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Do you want to do a quick swing analysis? This person said, if possible, is there any way I can send you my swing to receive some tips? Maybe we can do that. Maybe we can do it next time. We've already been on, I don't know, for an hour and 20 minutes. So
Okay.
yeah, we can do it. We can maybe try to do it next time. I'm doing this every Saturday at 9:30 this month. So maybe if you're available, I can have you on again.
Okay. Yeah, it should be.
Okay. Check out my website, theswingmechanic.com, and Jan is going to start his podcast soon, I think.
I don't know if I have the balls to do it yet, man.
All right. Well, just be on mine for a while.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys for showing up, and I'll see you next week. See you, Jen.
All right. See you.